Welcome to the Red Shirt Podcast with your hosts, Vernon and Nigel. The Red Shirt Podcast, by Reds, for Reds.
Chinya, now what I wanted to ask you, if I could, is if you could, like from a transfer deadline perspective, because we get really excited about it, and a lot of people don't realize that a transfer can start 18 months to 2 years before it actually goes through. There's a lot of negotiations, there's a lot of movement. Clubs might say, okay, we're not ready to sign you this year, but next year we want you and you're our man. Could you just sort of like give us an insight into, from your perspective, how a transfer works and how, say for instance, if one falls through and it doesn't happen, what psychologically it can happen? Because a lot of people don't realize that everything's packed up, you're ready to go, and the call comes through. And
poor Chinya, man. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna have to. Oh, bless.
I got that questions, don't I? My whole life. Yeah, well, I think within our career, I'd say Man City, Fulham, Norwich, where else? Fulham, Sunderland. So we've had quite many places, and I don't think I've been anywhere lived longer. QPR, all those places. So for me, transfer window for behind the scenes will be, yes, you're right. There's kind of a move or mention of, or someone's instigated something, or there's some connections and they're kind of kept alive throughout, a certain time. Then it gets close to say, is it going to happen? Is it not? Then they hear word, okay, something's going to happen. Then they start actually thinking, preparing as well. Sometimes there could be some tactics involved where it's like, the manager won't let you leave, or let's piss off the manager a little bit so he can leave. That's a tactic type thing. I am my own business as well. So, and there's been circumstances as well where it was just last minute, the window's just there a minute before, you don't even know if you're going to go or not. And then, you get a phone call. Well, I would get a phone call. Oh, I'm at this club. Like, what? So we're going to move there, so even to the point of, some surprise moves happened. And I'll tell you a story that once there was my ex-partner moved to Everton. Was in the locker, put his bags up, kind of seen his locker room, seen his space, and put his boots in the shed, in the locker space, and then realized that he's not actually getting signed. So everything happened, even went into the club, even in the space, and then it's not happening. They have to pack the bags and then go back, So it's very interesting, but for the family, it's quite like really sudden. It's like you got a phone call, you've gone. And then they actually don't come back because they go straight into training, straight into the whole thing. They can't come back home to get their stuff. So they've left with a little bag, and then the family has to pack everything up, find somewhere to live, then settle. If they've got children, then they have to think about schools and all the rest of it. It's really, really interesting. And then you end up having no friends. Hey, all you women, no friends. Here I am. No friends. Really isolated, you know what I mean? So it's interesting. It's an interesting kind of job, and it doesn't last long. It's intense behind the scene. It's there's lots of pressure. The psychological is next level. I think mental well-being should be high on all of the club's agendas, and making sure that even they extend their families as well, and the player. And then even there's lots of like peer pressure in there. There's lots we call them the sharks as well, those agents, that are sniffing around these little boys that are only young, don't know about money management. There should be so much more in the sense of even financial education needs to be happening in there, and definitely keeping them away from the sharks that says, oh, I'm going to look after you, and then just taking their money, and then by the time they're finished, they don't have no money. And there's a lot of things happening in football which needs to be changed, definitely. And there's been a lot of people I even know, even like suicide, and getting to close to there, and and just the spiral down. There's no support after you know, after when someone finishes their professional kind of career, and they're only babies still. They're still like in their 30s, 38. You know, I'm a bit past that. You know, but you know, they're still babies, and they've still got a lot of life to live. And you know, I just think the game is good, but there's so much more care that needs to happen for the young ones that are, you know, that are going in.
I think from a footballer's point of view, a lot of them really suffer with when the lights, you know, when the lights turn off, don't they? You know, like because they're used to, it's like the dressing room. You know, you know, they'll say, you know, what goes on in the dressing room stays in the dressing room. It's kind of like a life, isn't it? It's something that they belong to, isn't it?
Yeah.
And people find it really strange because, like, you know, a lot of people forget that footballers, if you've been, and a lot of footballers have been involved in the game since they were like 7 or 8, so they've been into academies. So they're told what to eat, told when to turn up, told when to sleep, told, you know, when to exercise, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, and let's, you know, I mean, let's make no bones about it. Yeah, there's no loyalty in football.
No.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? There's no sentiment in football from a club's point of view. When you're finished, or when you know, you're a commodity.
Yeah, they're like soldiers.
Yeah. And when and when you don't fit in with their plans, they're ready for you to go. So to me, when people say, "Oh, footballers, they should show loyalty to the club," and it's like, there's no loyalty in football. You're trying to kid. You've got maybe 10 years, 12 years, maybe 15 years at the top, and you've got to make as much money as you can, you know, before you can, you know, before it all ends. And I think it's funny because I think a lot of like footballers really struggle with just normal life, living Civvy Street, not just footballers, but you speak to a lot of other sports people, and, you know, they find it very, you know, just walking down the street and not being recognized anymore, or having to buy a paper and they're not in it, their name's not in it. It's very hard for them to adjust to that life. And it is actually very interesting. And I think there does need to be some real support. Because I remember reading Mark Hughes was saying when he went to play for Barcelona, you know, when he got signed, there was nobody to help him. He got there and it was like, right, this is your apartment. And he said he was left to his own devices. He said, you know, this was the day before there was satellite TV. So he said, I couldn't even watch Coronation Street, you know, I couldn't, you know, I couldn't go out and order something to eat. He said, I tried to hire a car. And he said, I wanted to buy a car, but I ended up hiring one for like 6 months because I just didn't know what to do. Whereas I think now some of the clubs now, like you said, they've hired these liaison officers that, you know, they bring people in, they make them feel a part of the club, get them used to the area. Because I think that must be really difficult. What you're saying is moving sticks, moving into an area that you don't know, and then familiarizing yourself. And then it must be really difficult for your kids at the same time for their adjustment of leaving friends and going to different schools. So I think sometimes we forget about these sacrifices and how tough it must have been on them as well at times.
Yeah, definitely. Behind the scenes, there's a lot that goes into it. So I say, big up to everyone. Just keep going, you know, and make as much as you want, save as much as you can, you know. And definitely, I always say when one story ends, I kind of say your life's like a storybook or a chapter. You know, don't be afraid to just reinvent and just be who you want to be on the next chapter. So definitely, but yeah, lots of support is needed, and it is intense. But as you say, they still get paid a lot. You know, like you can make a good career out of it. Yeah, lots of support is needed for sure. Extra, especially for the young ones. Yeah, and I've got my boys going through. So my boys are at like Liverpool now and Accrington Stanley. Every day we're going to, you know, the academy, and you know, you was talking about the manager before, and I do think that the managers do actually create the culture of the club. You know, so if they're kind of family orientated, then the club takes on that ethos. As you said, you know, United one, if it's too cool for school, then you know it's really them that sets precedent as how this goes and how it, you know, how the feeling and the experience of the whole thing. So definitely, you know, it's good. It's good for discipline, and it's good for, I think that the guys come out of it, and then, you know, they're soldiers. To go through a whole football and be professional, you have to have something inside of you, the willpower. You know, not anyone could do it. And if you try to do it, did you try to do it? You guys played football. Where did you get to? It's hard, you know.
Oh, don't start that story. It's a long story.
But Chinya, you said Liverpool, and then you said Accrington Stanley.
Don't mess. Listen, Accrington is really good with their homegrowns, their business strategy. I didn't realise as well that you know, I didn't realise that the whole buying and selling players happened at such an early age. I thought, my God, I've got my kids into this thing, and you know, they're actually commodities, as you said, Vernon. Like, wow, okay.
Well,
all right,
Raheem Sterling started at QPR. A lot of people didn't realise that he started at QPR. But I mean, I always think of the milk advert, Nigel. You know, Accrington Stanley.
Accrington Stanley.
Exactly. Big up Accrington Stanley, guys.
Well, they are. So this Thursday brings us up to the Champions League draw, guys. So just a quick one for you. There's been a few rule changes this year with the Champions League. First of all, away goals don't count anymore. Away goals don't count. That's one of the rule changes. The second rule change is really to do with the English clubs. So, for instance, if they play a Wednesday Champions League game, they'll no longer be playing at 12:30 on a Saturday. So if they play at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday, they won't be played at 12:45 on BT. That game will be rescheduled for 7:30 on a Saturday night, which that brings the rule. So basically, you have still the two kickoff times, 5:55 and 7:55. So the draw comes, and United are going to be in pot 2. So
hold on. You do accounts, Vernon.
Yeah.
How is a away goals thing not? How have they quantified that as to be a good thing? What?
Right.
You have to explain to me. Being counted for me,
please. I'll explain to you not in accounting terms, but in the tradition. The tradition of
just quickly. Dummy style now, please.
Quick and easy. What used to happen in European football, especially in the first legs, if a European team off the continent, say Italy, Spain, Hungary, or whatever, they would play a rigid 4-4-2 or 4-5-1. But what they would do was put in 2 or 3 reserve players to basically kick a team out of a game. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what they said is, because these teams were happy just for a 1-0 to lose 1-0. So to actually bring more excitement into the game, they said, okay, what we're going to do to make the games basically more enjoyable for the broadcasters and the TV companies is if the away team scores a goal, it counts as double. So it was to make sure that the teams would come to try and get a goal instead of basically you'd have the Battle of Bilbao where teams were just getting pushed off the ball and knocked out. So
okay,
stay with us, Nige.
No, I'm not going anywhere. I totally get it. I'm just thinking it's balmy.
So
I think it's the worst thing ever.
That's what it was to do, to basically increase and to make attacking football. So we know the Champions League, we know the format. So I'm going to say to you guys, which teams do you want to draw out in the group stages? Because I've seen a lot of group stages and I've seen a lot of dead rubbers where I'm thinking, do I really want to see, like, for instance, with no disrespect, but say, for instance, a Bromby. I love in the group stage where they get a PSG or a Juventus, because I think football in the floodlights is just fantastic and phenomenal. So, Nigel, who do you want us to get?
Well, I mean, actually, I don't mind playing the Brombies in the group stages. I kind of like that whole nostalgia thing. You don't know who you're going to draw. You could end up traveling virtually to Russia, for a European night. I like those games. I do like those games where
or Azerbaijan.
Or Azerbaijan or whatever. And then I like the bigger games for later on in the tournament, because you've earned the right to play those teams. So I think everyone's got to turn up, where you're at, how good are you at the moment? Because a lot of times you got a lot of British teams, but some of them are dross. You look at Arsenal, they've been there for years and they were rubbish.
Yeah, but Nigel, Arsenal are that bad now. They can't even get into the European Conference League.
Exactly.
Stop it now. Stop it.
No, I like it. Turn up.
But hold on. This question a bit. I want the Brumbies. I want the easy thing. I ain't messing about, because it's United. We can be brilliant at one thing and then be horrendous against. You know what I mean? Such and such. And we need to kind of ease ourselves into this. Have some feel good factors. And it sounds sad, but we need to beat a couple of 4-0s and things to get that thing going. I don't want to be struggling to get. I don't want to see PSG or Bayern Munich or any of them in my group. To be honest, I don't. I really don't.
So get ready. I'm expecting a WhatsApp from you for about 5:30 tomorrow, and saying, "You're mad, blood. You're mad." But there is. Chinya,
hey,
Champions League. Yeah. How do you see it this year? How do you see it going?
Oh, the Champions League. Well, we got the strongest teams, eh? You got Chelsea, you got Liverpool, United, City. So I think Champions League. I think it would be a good league, definitely. And well, we're here with the Red Shirts podcast. So, well, hopefully, on top.
I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because I don't know if you guys saw last year's semi-final draw, and the one thing that kind of really, really sat out and sort of sat out at me was the fact that the 3 of the teams that were in the semi-finals, 2 of them were state basically sponsored teams in City and PSG. The other one was run by an oligarch, and then Real Madrid.
Oligarch, you mean?
Oligarch. Yeah, that's the one.
Yes,
thank you. I always get it wrong. Thank you very much. And then, obviously, Real Madrid, who are basically the King's team. I mean, in Spanish, Real basically, translates back to Royal.
Mm-hmm.
How do we see it this year? Because basically, the way the format of the Champions League's gone in the last few years is that it's gone with the countries that have the strongest TV broadcasting deal, doesn't it, Nigel?
Well, exactly. I mean, we spoke about this at great length last year, and of course, this is the fallback plan, because obviously your Real Madrid and the top 6 from the UK all wanted to ruin the game forever. So I think they're still trying to find a way as to how to try and maximize their revenues. Now they've not got their European Super League, but that said, these new rules that are being introduced, they were going to get introduced anyway. And I mean, I remember we talked about this at great length about maybe this is the reason why they were trying to, protest by moving away, with a new league. We'll have to see how it works. I don't like the fact that they've changed the away goals rule. I like that for the very reason it said it's more entertaining. You're going to get more attacking football, and when you get rid of that, the incentive dies a little bit, or there's less pressure when the away team scores a goal on the home team. So that dynamic, I think, is going to. I won't be surprised if that comes back next year. Because something that's a winning formula.
Yeah.
It's not broken. Don't try and fix it.
Well, it's funny because I've seen United on a number of occasions go out on the away goal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I remember being totally gutted in one semi-final against Bayer Leverkusen at Old Trafford.
Yeah. I was there.
I was there.
And what was scary, Bayer Leverkusen had 4,000 people. They were out shouting the whole of the Stretford end, fam. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, what? You know what I mean? But I totally agree. So that's going to make the first game cagey, whereby they're going, well, let's leave it on the last game then. You know what I mean?
No, because the away goals rule comes in the knockout stages.
Okay.
So it's not in the group stages, it's in the knockout stages.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah. So it's still 1 point for a draw,
right,
3 for
okay.
a win.
Right,
but
right,
it never was in the group stages.
No, it never was.
Right, okay, right. Okay. No, it wasn't.
Why
right,
are the rules? Are they changing rules to make it more, better game to watch, or what? Who makes those decisions? To say it's like that for so long. Why are we going to change it?
What happens is it's quite funny because a lot of the rules are brought in basically for TV to make it more of a product for TV. So, for instance, before you had penalties, where each team got 5 penalties, the 1962 European Cup was decided on a toss of a coin. Exactly.
Penalties any day.
Exactly.
But we've got to big them up because I'm glad about the offside thing. I'm so pleased that that's been changed this year. Yeah. You know what I mean? The gosh, and it's just led for a much better, much better. And even the VAR thing, you know what I mean, making the the size of a double yellow line now. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
stuff.
I think that point's really, really interesting. And I go back to Nigel's favourite player that he loves, Fred. And I was at Fred. You know what I mean, Fred.
Flintstones, it's the Flintstones.
And when I was at the PSG game last year, and obviously I was the year before. I think it was the PSG game, and Fred, obviously, there was a physical confrontation with a player, and he kind of leant in with his head, and the referee went to the screen, and everybody thought that he was going to get sent off, and he didn't. And everybody was saying, well, why is he not sent off? And what people forget is the referees bring their culture of their game to us. So in Italy, if it's not a sending off, he won't send them off. And it's funny because sometimes we're like, he should have been sent off. And it's like, well, no, you've got to understand that in Italy, that's not deemed as a sending off offence. Therefore, even though he went to the screen, he didn't do it. So
you got sent off in the end.
Unfortunately, it did. And I don't know if I ever told you the story about that, Nigel, because where I was next to the TV guys, when the referee came out with Fred, I could hear the referee said, Fred, calm down, last chance. And I thought, Ollie,
you told me.
Get him off. Ollie, you've got to get him off.
Yeah.
But so obviously that leaves us to you've got because obviously the draw happens on Thursday, 5 p.m. Then the games usually get played through October to December. And then obviously from then on, you go into obviously the last 16 and then the quarterfinals. And it's funny really because I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but in this country, we're the only country that actually sells out the stadiums for the European games. Have you ever noticed that?
Oh, wow.
How seriously it's taken. Yeah, I mean, football, in the rest of Europe, they don't have full houses because, again, a lot of them watch it at home on the TV. They won't come out in the cold. So
right, is that because it's not nationally broadcast in the UK? You either gonna have a BT or a Sky package to watch Champions League.
It is exclusively on BT now. To be honest with you, this is where I think one of the 4 games should be on terrestrial TV because it takes it away from people. And also, let's be honest, the cost of trying to watch football just from an armchair point of view is really expensive. It really is to follow your team in all these competitions. I think really FIFA should and UEFA should look at
the amount of time I'm following dodgy links and stuff, and some of the stuff coming up on my screen. Someone needs to compensate me for some of the things I've seen. You know what I mean?
This is not a confessional. You don't have to tell everybody everything.
Sorry.
What you watch in your house stays in your house.
Exactly. Well, clearly not in Annie's case.
we all know what you're watching now, Annie, when you say you're putting the football on.
I'm with you, Henny, even all those dodgy links for sure.
So it always makes me laugh though sometimes when I go on Twitter and I can see anybody got a link for the United game. All these links coming up. But anyway, so that's the Champions League out of the way. Which brings up to the last point, which is United versus Wolves this Sunday. It's a Super Sunday game. It's a 4:30 kickoff. And we play Wolves now. Wolves haven't had a great start, which brings me on to the other point. This Sunday, United will be playing in, believe it or not, their second away strip, which is light blue. Can I just ask you three, on Sunday, did you guys have to adjust your TV sets, or were you comfortable with United in yellow shorts?
I liked it.
I liked it.
I liked it. I actually, it was a grey and kind of dark black and yellow, wasn't it? Or blue and yellow with the
yeah. And then
you know what? It was one of the few kits I might actually buy that kit. Obviously it's going to be big and baggy, but and I thought I like just kind of I'm loud. I like the big bird kind of shorts. You know what I mean and stuff. It was I liked it. I've got.
Yeah, me too, man. Liked it.
See, Vernon, your fashion taste is West fam.
Ginger, what did you think of the yellow shorts?
Oh, no.
No gritted teeth there. That's just pure. No. See, it will be take them off. Come on, come on.
But I'm a traditional woman. I like United. Just the red and white United. Like different flavors and all the rest of it.
But going to Wolves on Sunday, they're under a new manager. There's no Nuno there anymore. How do we see this game going, guys? Will Sancho start? Will Varane should start, Nigel?
They absolutely should start. It beggars belief they're not started yet. And because I don't buy the whole let's feed them in gently. It's a different year. We bought 2 world-class footballers for a reason. Let's play our world-class footballers. And I wonder if on his mind, if he plays them and they don't play that well, it's that whole worry of, well, we spent all this money and they're not playing that well. I think Ollie's still biggest problem is his fear. It's the problems in his head, the mentality. Play your 2 best players.
Yeah.
Varane knows what to do. He's done it at umpteen times. He's got all the trophies he could possibly want. He knows what to do. Trust him. Sancho, being a great footballer in the German league for umpteen years. Not for 3 or 4 years. Trust him. Let him do it. And trust Pogba to do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
So,
Nigel. I agree, guys, for sure. Put on your best players. You bought them. You spent the money. Go out, just throw the dice. And as you said, with their experience, they should be able to tie the shoelaces and bring it together and play. So yeah, I'm with you, Nigel.
Right.
That's a very good point. Yeah. Thank you, Nigel. Yeah. And Anif,
we've lost him.
We've lost him.
We've lost him.
He's watching something he shouldn't be watching again.
Yeah, the moment he started talking about dodgy links, and look what happens. Literally, as soon as he said dodgy links, it all went dodgy for him.
It just went.
He's sorry about that.
There's with the dodgy links.
What have you been watching, Andy?
You see, you got me shut down there, man. You know what I mean? And that's a first ever. You know what I mean? Oh my days! You can't chat your business around these parts. You know what I mean? Sorry.
You see, this is it. You see what happened there is it's a bit like when you buy a dodgy Sky card. Do you know what I mean? You have it for 2 weeks and you think, wow, I've got everything. And then you come and on one day, everything's gone.
And then just like that, everything's gone.
Everything's gone.
Well, I used to go to bowlers, and when they changed the freak, you should see the queue round the bowlers, man. Oh, man, just like panicking. So, yeah, but anyway, yeah.
Anyway, the question was...
The question was, and if we play Wolves on Sunday, how do you think United will do? And do you think he'll start all his players? Do you think he'll start?
He can't mess about, and it'd be a great game to get them on right from the beginning. You know what I mean? And then, you know, see how they go on and then take them off later if you know, getting them up to match fitness. But you know, I don't think we can mess about in any game. I don't think we can take any game and try and be tactical about it. We've just got to be out there and see what we can do. You know, we finished second last season, and I don't think we played brilliantly even to finish second. To be honest, you know, I'm really highly critical because, you know, I want top performances. You know what I mean? And I don't think we're still getting them. I think we mully along. Yeah, we got all the away, you know, the away wins and stuff, but the home form was horrendous.
We won 9 games at home. We won last year out of 18.
Right. Well,
Lost
you know.
6.
Well, you know, we've got to improve on that, and he's just got to get that team out, and we need to stress test and see what's wrong. You know what I mean? You know, have we got fundamental problems, or as Nigel might say, is the fundamental problem not on the pitch?
I think it's quite interesting because, like, for me, it was important that we won at Southampton because City dropped points in the first game of the season. Yeah. So to me, it was kind of like we could have built up a gap. Okay, it's only 3 points, but you're laying a marker, aren't you? You're laying a marker down, and you're sending a message like, we're here. Look, we're serious. Yeah. And to me, that's what disappointed me most about the Southampton performance, because it was kind of like Old Testament and New Testament. New Testament United.
Hello.
Yeah. Old Testament was back last week. You know, like I look at like United and I thought the disappointments that we'd seen from the previous season, the chickens came back home to roost. Yeah. Now for me, this week, we've just got to go to Wolves. They've lost the first 2 games, and we've just got to, like, you know, be ruthless and just say, like Nigel says, you know, we're Man United. You can't live with us. And let's really put down a marker. Chinya.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Go on, Nigel. Sorry.
I was going to say, well, after Chinya said what she said, do you think we should just do a quick player rating?
Yeah, go on then. Go on then. Player rating, Nigel. You start off.
No, after let Chinya go first.
Well, Vernon, what were you going to say before? Is that what you're going to say as well?
I was going to ask you for a prediction. So if you want to do a prediction first, and then I'll get Nigel's ratings, okay? I'll get Nigel's ratings first.
Okay, your rating first, Nigel.
All right, well, okay, so for the game, I believe we will win it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. Like I said before, what United sold last week, I'm not buying. So I'm actually going to reserve judgment, unfortunately. I want to see what result comes. No, because I'm
do that, Nigel.
I'm doing it.
No, I want to see. You know what?
I want to see what you say.
I'm not even. You're not even sitting on the fence. You're sitting in the privets, man. You're in the privets.
I want to see what United's going to do about last week's result. So I'm not going to predict anything. I want to see it with my own eyes.
That's like saying, Nigel, that's like saying, I've got a KFC, yeah, and I know what a zinger tastes like, but until
I want vegan.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to lay it on the line, Nigel. Yeah. So I'll tell you what. You give me your player ratings from the previous week.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'll give you my ratings, and if we'll give you yours, we'll let Chinya go last with player ratings, and then we'll predict this week's result. So go on, Nigel.
Okay, so starting from the keeper, De Gea. So he had a good solid game, 7. What did you guys think?
Yeah, 7.
You know what? Yeah, there's still things that I don't like about De Gea.
He stays on his line.
On his line, and even when the ball's coming near his 6-yard box, he's staying on his line.
Yeah. If it wasn't for him, we would have lost. You do know that, don't you?
Yeah. But you know, we're getting good. Yeah, but we get good. We've got a good shot stopper who will come out and will support the back four far more. Don't put them in panic. But anyway, go on. Let's move on from De Gea. Move on.
Back 4.
Okay.
Back 4.
So Wan-Bissaka. We'll go with that. I'm going Wan-Bissaka first.
Go on.
Chinya.
Yeah. What back 4? Sorry, I didn't get you. Sorry, I missed it. So you're saying we wait in the back four? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So we're just going. Yeah, we're just going. So it's Wan-Bissaka now.
I'm not sure because sorry, Annie, if you're going to put me in a crevice as well.
Don't say something bad about Wan-Bissaka, you know.
Don't
Trust me.
Don't say nothing bad about him. I don't like rating. Honest, I don't like saying. Yeah, you have to take out this one, guys, because I got loads of respect for anyone who's out there.
Okay.
Fair enough. You did say that earlier, to be fair. So Wan-Bissaka for me gets a solid 7. I thought it was all right.
Agreed.
Vern?
What's Vern doing?
6, because it was his distribution, and he gave the ball away right in the,
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
So for me, it was a 6 because as much as I like him, well, as the team got progressively worse, so did he, unfortunately.
Okay.
Lindelof?
Let's move on.
That's 6.
See, he's a 6 for me, and I think
he's a 5 for me.
And I think he played worse than Wan-Bissaka. That's why Lindelof's got to get 6. Plus, he missed a sitter at the very beginning that could have changed the whole complexion of the game.
Next.
I missed that sitter.
Yeah.
Go on, let's not dwell.
Maguire?
A 5.
5. Maguire's back. Terrible.
5.
Luke Shaw?
I need to give it a 3.
Oh, hello, she's back.
Sure, I'd give 6. I didn't think he was great.
Same here. I'd give 5. Go on.
I'd say 6. Okay. Fred.
Own goal. So he's lucky.
Oh,
I'm gonna
come on. The guy tried to block the ball for Pete.
No.
If he hadn't have tried to block the ball, you'd have said, "What's Fred doing? Why is he stood there not trying to?"
What was Fred doing with that half-hearted block? He gets 4.
It was half-hearted. You know what I mean? I'm his biggest fan. That was a half-hearted block.
You're not. You've ditched him. You've changed the locks on the door.
You know what's worse? For me, okay, it was the block. Wait a minute. And
you changed the locks on the door on Fred.
When their winger skinned him, just played the ball past him and skinned him, and Fred couldn't catch him.
Okay, next.
Yeah, and he played a bad ball to Fernandez that created the goal.
Stop downing on the bro now. Stop downing on
he's got too far there. Fernandez was culpable for that goal. I'm not having Fred.
It wasn't a foul.
Okay, next.
Never a foul. Okay, Fernandez.
Oh, he won.
6.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, 6, I'm saying 5. That's the Fernandez I don't want to see. This is what I told you. I don't want to see that guy.
Let's get to my best one, the one I'm reserving my points for. Come on.
Martial.
You're joking. What? You know when they do that? This is what I'm doing for Martial.
I'm doing that because I'm looking for his skills.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chinya.
No.
Next. Out of injury as well. Did Martial not just out of injury?
No.
He's back from injury. He is back from injury. But I'd still the very fact that he just disappeared and went absent without leave for like 20 minutes of the game.
Martial gets a 4 for me.
I think you're generous, Nigel. I was thinking of 3.
Anyway, next. Go on.
Greenwood.
7.
Greenwood gets a 7 from me too.
Getting an 8 from me.
Yeah.
Because he's not. I wasn't certain for him. Was he in? He played. Well, he did come into the middle for a bit. You know what I mean?
When he came into the middle.
Right, and the week before he was in the middle, and I thought, oh wow, okay, he's coming on. And what he did this week, what I saw him trying to do was fab. You know what I mean? Really, and that's why I'm marking him high. It's that guts and endeavour. You know what I mean? He's one of the ones I think he's going to grow in stature and become more confident and start shouting. You know what I mean? Come on.
I'd say a flat 5 for all the substitutes because nobody really made an impact. No. And I think Ollie gets a 2.
Disappointing, Ollie. So the one thing that we all agree on is nobody got a 10 from Len, did they?
No, not this week.
Not this week. So anyway, before we wrap it up, I'm going to ask for predictions for this Sunday's game. So I think I'm going to start with you, Annie, first.
2-1 United.
Okay. Goal scorers?
I think Greenwood, and it will be Hernandez.
Oh, Fernandez.
Sorry, I always call him Hernandez. Yeah, Fernandez. Yeah.
Fernandez. Yeah, I mean, Bruno to his mates.
Okay.
And Nigel?
Is that Matador playing?
I think El Matador could be on the bench this week.
Right. I can see him coming on and scoring a goal. Yeah, I can see him. To be honest, Wolves are there to be beaten. They're not sorted themselves out yet. But then, if United mean business, we'll put these guys to bed very quickly. So I'm expecting a win. I'm expecting it to be comfortable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if not, then
if United score first, can you see a hatful happening?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I get worried when United get really early or two, because they tend to do that sit back or we've got this, and then it, you know what I mean? We get, the other team come out and say, well, we've done, 30 minutes of them 2-0 up. They should be finishing, and they come, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I don't like when, sorry, Nigel, I don't like the early United goal.
Early goal, okay. Yeah. I don't want an early goal because I'm actually on nights this Saturday. So I'll probably be just waking up if the goal goes in. So Chinya, it's your turn.
It's my turn, definitely. Well, United, we definitely need a win. They need to come out strong, for sure. And I think prediction, would it be about 2-0, you think?
2-0, okay. And your goal scorers?
Greenwood. Pardon?
Your man Greenwood.
Right, young man Greenwood definitely doing for the front for me, and Bruno, as you said.
Yeah, Bruno.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go. Yeah, so that's 2-0 for you. 2-0. What we're gonna have to do, Nigel, is we're gonna have to do a guest predictor board and panelist predictor board out.
Yeah,
you. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, so, definitely over the season.
Yeah, we get 2 points for a win, one, if you get it wrong, nod for a draw, 1 point. I'm gonna go. I think we're gonna win. I think it might be tough, but I can see us winning 2-0. I think Greenwood will score because I think he's in a rich vein of form, and I'm gonna go for Pogba. I think Pogba will get one.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say that's why I think we're going to have a hatful, because I think Pogba's come close every single game so far. Yeah. So I reckon he's going to bag this week. So I'm expecting to see one from Pogba, one from Greenwood, one from El Matador if it comes on, and Bruno's going to get a penalty. We're going to get a penalty at some stage. So that's why I can see a hatful. So I think 4 goals.
Well, that'd be interesting. Anyway, guys, that brings us to an end to another lively Red Shirt podcast with Vernon and Nigel. Do you know what I mean? So, Nigel, it brings us to this time where we say, keep safe, love football, and
keep that red flag flying.
The Red Shirt Podcast, by Reds, for Reds. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Red Shirt Podcast.